Hey, this is Jen. I hope everybody's good. Thank you for being here. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not new. I'm here with an energy update for the collective and the twin flames. And I also want to talk about the full moon. This next full moon is coming up on May 18th. And in just a few days, you may already be feeling those energies. They always tend to show up a few days before and they last for as long as they need to, depending on where you're at on your journey and in your life. This full moon is bringing really a an energy of boomerang, drastic change in energy and boomerang. And let me explain why I use these words. Just like any full moon, this one is also supporting us into releasing the past, releasing the old outdated visions that we had for ourselves, the old deceptions that we have because things didn't manifest the way we wanted, or did not show up, or didn't work out. And that's fine. We need to release those. Not because it didn't manifest in the past that it won't in the future. This full moon and its boomerang effect is going to help us manifest what we want if only we align to it, if only we allow it to manifest and to show up without resistance, without interference. We interfere the minute that our plan is too precise, in that we expect things to be the way we want them to be. That's interference. So we need to let that go. This full moon is really about leaving the past in the past and not looking back, because we are not that person anymore, and we are asked to focus on the present moment, to be 100% of the time conscious about what's going on in the present, so that we can start building and attracting our future. It starts now. This full moon is also drastic because there is no space or time to be looking back and dwelling on the past and dwelling on, yeah, but what if? Why? How come it didn't happen this way? Why this? Why that? If at this point we carry these questions and these negative emotions with us, we are automatically decreasing the chances of what we want to happen. And it's really a time to be aligned and to be like masters at our lives and ourselves and this energy things and this spiritual stuff. That's what the full moon is about. Right now, it's pretty much lashing out time. It's like Trigger City, lashing out town all over the place. That's because of the full moon. Everybody is being pushed to get out of the comfort zone, to expand that comfort zone, or even to learn how to live without one. Because when we think about it, a comfort zone doesn't really exist. A comfort zone is motivated by fear, is motivated by a lack of security. We feel that we need to be in a comfort zone or in a specific zone in order to feel secure or sturdy or happy, which is not true. We don't need a comfort zone. Sure, it's nice to feel comfortable. Sure, it's nice to feel like we are good at something. But expending that goodness is what allows us to become even better, to become even greater. And that's the energies behind that full moon. And I use the word boomerang because at this time, the energies are really, really high, and they're bubbling and they're moving and they're in constant movement for us to integrate these new changes and to embody that new consciousness of the new earth. The boomerang is about being careful what we do, what we think, in how we go about karma, meaning it's a really high time for karma to be created. So it's either we create positive karma or negative karma. And each time we talk about something, our lives, someone, something we want to see happen, we need to be careful which words we use. Words carry vibrations, and they're like spells that we cast out, that we project outside of ourselves to call into ourselves. In times where karma is being created, if we create or use negative words or use positive words that are backed up by negative energy, we basically project that outside of us. Therefore, the boomerang, when it comes back, will bring exactly the same thing. Maybe in a different way, through a different vehicle, through someone different or a different situation, but the energy will be the same. So if we say something negative about someone, rest assured that it's going to come back right in your face. It's going to come back right at you for the truth to be revealed and for you to be conscious of what just happened. And to learn how to master this and to be careful and to learn to walk away when it's time to walk away from things. Not to hide, but instead of saying something negative, walking away is a better option. And this full moon, as it is lifting up another piece of the veil, this boomerang effect is going to be almost instantly. If we look back in the past, we had time, we had this gap, this space between the moment that we make an action and the effect, the cause and effect law. But now that law, that cause and effect, there's almost no gap. So we need to be aligned. That's the only way to create positive karma or to have that boomerang bring back something positive. It's by putting positive out there, projecting positive out there. So that projection, we all do it. It's a natural behavior that human beings have. And if we develop the awareness to realize that what we see in others, we automatically have in us, that's where opportunity for healing lies. And if we realize that we're being negative, that we accuse someone or a situation, perhaps we have something unresolved inside that needs our attention. And now we're going to know it we're going to know it better than we ever did before, faster than we ever did before. So being connected with our hearts, to our hearts, being aware of the energy and the vibrations behind our words is what matters, because what we project out there is what we will attract back in return 10 times, 100 times, depending on what you are putting out there. And it's not about being a false positive or that kind of person who seems too joyful all the time. We're all human beings. It's normal to be tired, to be down, to be more sensitive on some days. It's about being real and authentic and not pretending to be overly positive. The universe knows anyway. And now, with the lifting of that veil, people will know too. So it's really useless to pretend, and doing the work is really the recipe for success here. This full moon is drastic in a way where there's no more chances, in the sense of you will have the cause and effect law happen so quickly that you'll have no choice but to realize what is going on. So if you've been in situations lately in the past week or few days where people are lashing out, they are most probably already feeling those energies. They may not be aware of it, but they are trying to work through these energies. It's important to support them by being in compassion, unconditional love, and by being sturdy in your position, meaning that when it's time to put up a boundary, let's put a boundary and protect yourself and your energy. But other than that, that lashing out is a call for action, is a call for expanding that comfort zone. It's a call for healing. It's a call for going deeper. Because if you are resistant to something, you need to switch that resistance for resilience. By being resilient, you are in a state of surrender. You are in a state of allowing. You are in a state of allowing yourself to see why you needed to go through this situation, or why you needed to wait, why you felt so impatient. Nothing is magical to the point where I want this and boom, it's right in front of my face. It takes time. Everything is a process. Everything is a cycle. And some of these things you may resonate with or you may not, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Nobody is at the same level or going at the same pace. That's fine. And this full moon is going to affect everyone differently according to what they need at that moment. The body is also going through major changes. The nervous system is like speeding up, trying to adapt to these new vibrations and energies. And I wouldn't be surprised if we were or we are going to see peaks in the Schumann resonance. Those energies starting May 18th will change how we see things, our consciousness level, taking us to a deeper layer of this spiritual ascension. There's always another layer. As long as we're alive, there's always more to see, always more to understand, more to love, more to expand, more to heal. Maybe not healing. At one point, we do reach a level of balance where things get a lot easier. We don't get triggered as much, and we don't lash out as much. But the Schumann resonance, which are the vibrations of the earth, I wouldn't be surprised that they are deeply affected by this full moon. It's going to change a lot of things. And I know some people may be annoyed by hearing this because they don't see the actual things changing in their lives. My advice to you is just keep going. You're going to get to that point where you see it. Just keep going, stay aligned, stay in balance, stay focused, and move forward. The past is the past. It's gone, it's done, it's over. Let's forgive and move on. If we don't, we are only hurting ourselves. We are only delaying things. It's not easy to forgive someone, but it's a must for your own personal freedom. So the body is going through extreme changes, and sleeping has been a little bit of a challenge lately. Staying asleep or waking up many times during the night, unable to fall asleep because we feel that energy is just hitting our nervous system. And we might be seeing those changes really when we look at ourselves in the mirror, seeing, oh my God, it looks like I'm changing. It looks like my body is changing shapes. And really, it is happening. Those energies are affecting every cell in our body. It's affecting our DNA. It's affecting our nervous system. So weight changes may be happening at this time, either gaining weight or losing weight. Of course, be careful if you are gaining weight. This may be like a protection system. Losing weight, well, you may be liberating yourself from something, therefore your body is releasing as well. It could be many different things. Everybody is so different. None of us work exactly the same. It's also a very high time for karma, like I said. And really, it's important to plant the seeds of what we want to see happening in a few months from now. It's always the same process. We need to prepare, we need to nurture it, and then we need to allow it to happen, just like everything else in life. We also, I know that a lot of people are feeling like they're in their own bubble, like a protective bubble, a higher consciousness or higher love kind of bubble. That's a really good sign that you're doing something right, that you're going up in the ladder or going forward on your path, and just stay in your bubble. Put up your boundaries when it's time to, and protect yourself from the lashing out, all the while being compassionate. Just know where the limits are. Just know when to walk away, know when to stop. Miscommunication is really big also, as if people are on two different channels or speaking two different languages, even though they are speaking the same language. That's because a lot of people are not aware of what's going on with them. They're not aware of what's coming out of their mouth. And the words that are used are not being backed up properly. Therefore, it's difficult to be understood. And if you are on the receiving end of this, you might be the one saying, is it me? But I don't get people. I don't understand what they're saying. I understand the words, but I don't understand the meaning behind. That's because the person is going through a change in their energy, and you're maybe not picking up on their energy, or you're picking up on something negative and you're automatically blocking it. Or could also be you. You might be changing to the point where you're not fully integrated in your body or in these new energies, and your nervous system is still adjusting and working very hard. So you're having a difficult time grasping or wrapping your brain around everything. And that's okay. This too shall pass. It's only a phase, nothing to be worried about, but it's really a phase where we need to be careful, because this is where mistakes usually happen. It happens, especially at work, or silly mistakes of, hey, I'm going to pay my bill, but I forget my account number, my PIN number, or I put in the wrong payment, stuff like that. Also on the road, being very careful while driving, because people tend to be like real lunatics, like really out of it, heads in the clouds, and not really focusing on the environment of what's happening around, but focusing on their own bubble. And that can create a lot of conflicts on the road, in person, at work, with colleagues, in communications with friends. Changes are never comfortable. It's hard to change. We get tired. We don't know what's happening. We don't know where we're going. It's hard to let go. So it can create a lot of conflicts. So we need to choose our words wisely, lovingly, and compassionately, in order to stay neutral and authentic to our truth. As long as we care for ourselves, and as long as we speak our truth, things will be fine. If we try to hide, though, that boomerang is going to bring exactly that back at us. Through a mirror effect, through someone hiding something, it could be in many different ways, but it's going to be brought back to us very quickly, and that could be very deceiving. So watch your words, choose them wisely. And this is going on in the collective. It's also going on with the twin flames, with the divine masculine. And at this point, both divine feminine and masculine are going through huge changes huge triggers, huge calling to pop out of those old templates, really letting them go and walking towards something new, letting fears guide, using fears as guides for us to know this is where I need to go. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I'll get there. The divine feminine is going through that, and the divine masculine is going through that, but at a deeper level for a lot. The divine feminine is really holding the space for the divine masculine to catch up or to wake up or to come into union with their divine feminine. A lot of old thought patterns have been released on the masculine side, and a lot of them are working on that balance between the feminine and masculine. So the divine feminine is really just holding the balance, holding space, holding the ship for things to work and to run smoothly. And divine feminine is also releasing a lot of what has been going on in the twin flame connection, especially for those who met their twin a few years ago. Maybe a lot of things happened between the two, and it's really now a time to forgive, move on, release, and understand that if it happened this way, it was meant to happen this way. And if things didn't show up the way you expected them to show up, well, there you go. That's because there was expectation. This full moon is asking us to live in surrender mode without expectations, with or by using our spiritual tools and powers and co-create, create, manifest instead of expecting. Expecting always involves a part of the ego, and that's where we get hurt. That's where we have a hard time releasing and let it go because our ego is hurt. And it usually shows up as, how come it didn't happen? But I don't understand. Sitting back, connecting to our hearts, our soul, our higher self, which are always present, will bring us the answer. And when we are truly in alignment and living a heart-based life, we know that if it didn't happen, so be it. It wasn't supposed to happen. And whatever is meant to manifest or show up in our lives will show up. It's a done deal. It's only a matter of time. And it's only a matter of knowing through which channel it's going to show up. There is more than one channel. And the ego is most of the time unable to see and realize that there are more than one channel. There are more than one ways for things to show up and to reach you in your life. So letting go of all these things that we had in mind for ourselves, for our future, is what both divine masculine and divine feminine are going through at this point. Some divine masculine are even at the point where, yes, I'm ready to give and I'm ready to receive a higher kind of love because I know myself more now. I know my worth. I know what I want. I know where I want to go. It's only a matter of doing it and letting it happen. A lot of divine feminine are pretty much at the same place. So a really nice state of balance is really happening at this point and will keep on happening. And a lot of people in twin flame connections will see huge shifts and changes. And if it doesn't happen or you don't see it at this point for you, it's not a time to get mad. It's a time to sit back and go within to see where you need to go even deeper. It might be going deeper in your healing, in your releasing of the ego, into working on your mission, into your authenticity, into coming into your spiritual gifts. It could be many different answers. Just connecting to that channel and guidance inside will bring you answers. We are all able to do this without any outside help. It only takes time or getting used to and understanding how it works. Everybody is going through this at this point. This full moon is really bringing this spiritual energy to the collective where people are being called to be more aware and conscious of what's going on inside of them, but also what's going on outside of themselves. That will take time for sure. And of course, it will take time after the full moon for us to see the effects of this. The lashing out phase and lashing out town needs to pass. The lashing out train needs to pass for these energies to be felt and embodied and integrated into people, and everyone at their own pace. But a lot of divine masculine are in this, are feeling this, are really getting over the block of the fears that they might have carried for such a long time towards anything spiritual, towards the twin flame connection, towards that energy that they felt around their twin or that they felt around their lives. A lot have come to terms with all those tower moments. A lot of them have come to terms with, okay, this is my past. This is what happened to me. It's just a story. It's not me. I am not this story. I am me. And getting aligned even more, even deeper with their own gifts. Going towards their feminine, going towards meeting their feminine, or getting into reunion and whatnot. And I very rarely speak about unions and reunions because since everyone is at a different level and different pace, it's tricky to talk about reunions and unions because it's so different. Every connection is different. Every connection will come into union in a different manner, and we can't compare it to one another. The only thing you can do is, if you are feeling frustration, anger in your connection, it means that there's more work to be done. There's more releasing and healing to be done. And how to go about that is really connecting to your heart, letting your mind and your ego aside. They will never bring the answers to you. And connecting with your higher self and your soul to know the truth, your truth, and to follow that truth. So a lot of divine masculine are getting ready for that next phase in their lives. They do feel that renewal phase showing up for them. They are able to recognize what was missing in their lives, what went wrong, why it went wrong, and they're able to release it and let it go, and getting ready for something new, something different, getting ready for a next or a new chapter in their lives. A lot of them have worked on healing their hearts, and they're in better balance in between being able to receive and give. A lot of them were having a hard time receiving because they had a hard time seeing themselves for who they really are as a spiritual being, and that ties in with the balance between the feminine and the masculine energies. And a lot of them are working on that, on holding that balance, achieving it, and then holding it, because we always tend to go one way or the other depending on what's going on in our lives. And just holding the balance in that kind of situation, being more in our masculine, in that kind of situation, being more in our feminine, and just really switching from one to another depending on what's happening, and really just holding space for both of these energies to be alive and to be present and to teach us and show us and guide us into the next thing, into the next level. They are aware of that. They are feeling it. Some of them are feeling different. They don't know what it is yet, but they will. They will understand. They will catch up. They will move forward no matter where they are. We can't resist our destiny for the rest of our lives. That's pretty impossible to do. And like I've said before, it's just like fighting against gravity. It does not work. It can't happen. We're going to fall. And for those twins that are feeling stuck at this time, I really encourage you to just hold on. Allow this full moon to bring something new, and really get out of the way. If you feel resistance and you get mad, try to shift it in any way that you can. Not by being angry, but by asking the right questions. What do I need to understand about this? What do I need to know about this? What do I need to change or work on in order to shift the situation? And allow the answers to show up. They will. It's just not always instant. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. But they will show up if you only listen. A mistake that a lot of people do, unfortunately, is going through a phase of expansion, and then kind of like going back to sleep, going back to old patterns. And this creates block instead of having constant progress. And I know it's not easy to achieve, and there's a fine line between falling asleep and falling back into old patterns and constant work. Sometimes we don't know how to keep that work in movement, but it's possible to do. The thing to do is to catch yourself, being aware that you're going back to old patterns and trying something. As long as you try, you're fine. As long as you try, you're not falling. It's just like riding a bicycle. When you stop, you fall. So as long as you try, even if it doesn't work, as long as you try, you're on the right path and you're doing the right thing. So, full moon, twin flames, comfort zone, boomerang, lots of things happening, lots of things in progress, and a lot of shifts, coming ahead. So let's be prepared for this. Let's be in surrender, happiness and compassion, and really just happy about things, happy about this progress. Gratitude. Failing to have gratitude is a huge source of resistance and a huge way to create another big block in the road. Gratitude, always, always, always. We may not always have or get what we ask for or what we want, But one thing is for sure, we always get what we need. And what we need is not always material stuff or, yeah, but I need love. I need to be in the relationship because I want to share love. Perhaps if you feel this way, maybe you're going to manifest being single for a little bit until you master what's behind that affirmation that makes you say, I need. Because when we say, I need, we come from lack. We come from a space where we are missing something as opposed to knowing that we are whole. So that's it for now. Happy full moon, hanging tight, hang on through these energies. Conflicts are not forever. Lashing out are not forever. Miscommunication will become better, and best communication will become very powerful communication, like in sync, and it will become more synchronized. And those conflicts will also become more synchronized, more aligned. Therefore, they won't be conflicts anymore. They will just be good things and lighter energies and vibration. So always speak your truth and be careful what you project outward, out there, outside of yourself, because that's what we are attracting right now and for the next few months as well. And just stay aligned in your heart and trust. Have faith that things are happening for a reason. If you would like to get in touch or book a reading with me, you can do so using my email, indigogirl555@gmail.com, on my Facebook page at Indigo Girls Readings, or on Instagram at indigogirl555. And until the next time, be well.